Today I'm going to speak to you about stuff that you may need to adjust to when you newly arrive in Canada. Well, as you know, Canada is a relatively cold country when you compare it to Sri Lanka. It's much colder in many places. So the first thing that you need to be mindful is the climate, the weather. So when you are traveling to Canada, you need to make sure that you bring with you clothes that suit the climate. So if you are traveling to Canada during the winter time, you need to make sure that you need to bring stuff like your winter jackets, sweaters, snow boots, thermal underwears, layers and layers of clothes, etc. So you need to be mindful of those things when you come here, depending on the time you are traveling. If you are traveling during summer, then you have to bring stuff accordingly. But in any case, you need to talk to people who are in the area that you are going to move into, and then purchase your items accordingly. That is number one. The second aspect that you need to adjust to is the direction of the traffic. If you take Sri Lanka for example, if you are going to cross the road, your instinct to look towards is to your right, because the vehicle will be coming from your right, and then you look to your left. But in Canada, it's not so. You have to turn to your left and then to your right. That is how the traffic system works here. That is because in Sri Lanka, the driving seat of a vehicle is on the right side, whereas in Canada and countries like US, it is on the left side. So naturally, everything changes. So you need to be mindful of that too. The other aspect that I would like to talk about is public transport. When you arrive in Canada newly, you will not have a vehicle, and therefore you will have to depend largely on public transport. So you have to understand that unlike bus services in Sri Lanka or in Colombo for that matter, you don't get buses as and when you need. You don't get buses here often. The buses come here on a scheduled time. So therefore you need to plan your trips accordingly. One way you can do that is by checking Google Maps. You can choose the mode of transport to public transport or bus, and then you check the time as to when a bus would be coming that way, and according to that you can plan your trip. Okay, now the other thing that I want to talk about are the prices of goods. So if you go to a supermarket, you will have prices marked on the shelves, but by the time you go to the cashier and pay them, you would notice that the prices which have been charged are a little higher than the prices marked on the shelves. That is because of the taxes. So every goods or services here is largely taxed as far as I know. So therefore you need to be mindful of that as well. So whenever you are planning your shopping, you need to budget accordingly. You need to include the taxes as well. One final thing that I need to remind you is that the washrooms in Canada do not have bidet showers. We need to depend on tissue rolls. So when you come here, you need to be prepared for that too. These are the few things which came to my mind, and I hope they were useful. So if I had missed out on any aspect, please mention them in the comments. Until then, bye.